Torah. All right, good. Got it. All right, and songbook. All right. Let's do the Nishingadev prayers today. Well, I don't need my glasses for this one. Namaste, Nada Singh Hai Ha, Palada La, Adayane, Hiranyakase, Urvakshaha, Shiratamaka, Nakalai. Ituna singa parato the singo yato yamitato the singa bahir the singo ridaye the singhamadim sharanam prapajoy. Namaste, Singaya, Balada Lad, Dayane, Hiranyakasi, Urvakshaga, Shinatam Ganakalaye, Yatona Singa, Baratona Singo, Yato Yamitona Singa. Bakira singo ridaye singo the singo with him sharanam joy the singo with him sharanam joy Dakara kamalapa brain a kama buddhist singam Dali dai ranya kasibu dani bringam Isabadrita narani rupa Jayakari sagate Jayakari sagate Jayakari sagate Come and up a brain, come put the sing Dali Dagi Ranya Kasibu Dan bring Isabadrita Narari Rupa Jayakari Shagate Jayagadi Sagate, Jayagadi Sagate, Isabadrita, Narani Rupa, Jayagadi Sagate, Jagadi Sagate, Jagadi Sagate, Jayana Sringadev, the Singadev, the Singadev, Jayana Singadev, the Singadev, the Singadev, the Singadev, the Singadev, Valad Maharaj, Valad Maharaj, Valad Maharaj, Jaya, Valad Maharaj. Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya, Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad, Paramahansa, Advaita Acharya, also Teta Satashi, Shimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya, Chalana, Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anandakoti Vaishnava, Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shiva Siddhigor Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Saya Mukunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Maturadam Ki Jai, Jagadada Swami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is the assembled devotees, all glory is to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prasthaya, Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Chinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharani Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarni. And the translation: I offer my obeisances to Lord Narasimha, who gives joy to his dear Prahlad Maharaj, and whose nails are as chisels or stone-like on the stone-like chest of the demon Hiranyakashipu. Lord Narasimha is here, and Lord Narasimha is also there. Wherever I go, there is Lord Narasimha. Lord Narasimha is outside, and Lord Narasimha is within the heart. Unto Lord Narasimha, the origin and supreme shelter, I surrender. And then, of course, the second part is, O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, have assumed the form of half man, half lion. All glorious to you, just as one easily can crush a wasp between one's fingernails. So in the same way, the body of the wasp-like demon Hiranyakashipu has been ripped apart by the wonderful pointed nails on your beautiful lotus hands. Okay, that's ecstatic. Let me just close some of the other apps that are open so we can go quicker here. 1 second. Closing apps. All right. Should go quicker now. Okay, yeah. Okay, gang. So we're going to continue with the Caitanya Bhagavat. We have just read about Lord Chaitanya's marriage to Lakshmi Priya. And she does not know, even though she's the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, she does not know that she's married to Lord Narayan. Well, actually, Krishna, in his original aspect, of whom Lord Narayan is an expansion, just to be precise. So, let's go. Om Gana Timidandasha Gananjana Shlakya Chakshur Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Srila Prabhupada so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Okay, and then we'll share the screen. Alrighty, here we go. Share screen. And there it is. All right. That is ecstatic. Okay, let me just set up all my other little screens on the side here. Okay, ready to go. So we ended with this one yesterday. Until the Lord himself allows one to know him, even Lakshmi has no power to understand him, because Krishna remains hidden. So, wow, by the supreme will of the Lord, his covered pastimes are beyond the perception of even his internal potencies. However, there is one person who can get Krishna to reveal himself, who can get an understanding of what Krishna is doing, and who can control Krishna, and that's Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani can control Krishna, just like that story. When Krishna took the forearm form, a Chaturbhuj, that means forearm form, and he was trying to hide from the gopis, and he was able to hide from the gopis in that forearm form. They thought, hey, there's just Lord Narayan there. Let's offer our obeisances, but we're interested in Krishna. But when Radharani came, Krishna was not able to cover his pastimes anymore. Oh my goodness. So she can control even the supreme controller. But otherwise, no one can. Esavas Shastre Veda Purane Vakyane Yaratana Kripa Haya Se Jani Tane. The Vedas, Puranas, and other scriptures confirm that only one who is favored by the Lord can understand him. So, of course, Radharani is not only favored by the Lord wants her favors. He's always trying to please Srimati Radharani. So he's thinking, how can I please her? How can I please her? Just like she is always thinking, how can I please Krishna? How can I please Krishna? No selfish interest. In the same way, Krishna has no interest other than pleasing Srimati Radharani. Therefore, if we approach Radharani and we beg her mercy, then Krishna will be forced to give us mercy. She says, this devotee, I want you to accept him. And Krishna says, how can I accept that guy? Or that girl. How can I accept that person? They're really not so up to the mark. And Radharani says, you should accept him. That's her compassion. And then Krishna says, yes, sir. So, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jana Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Pada Yuge Gana. Accepting Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu is my life and soul. Imagine that. Life and soul. I mean, you hear this expression quite often. Life and soul. It means they're everything. There's nothing else. You know, Lord Chaitanya's and Nityananda are my soul. I mean, they're the very essence of my soul. You know, obviously, ontologically, they are not my soul. But in terms of one's meditation or focus on pleasing, they are our souls in a practical sense. So I, Vrindavanas, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhasha commentary on Sri Caitanya Bhagavat, Adikanda, chapter 10, entitled The Marriage of Sri Lakshmi Priya. Wow, chapter 11. I can hardly wait. The meeting with Sri Ishvara Puri. Wow. Okay. So we're going to skip over the chapter summary, of course, like we usually do, because we don't want to give away what's going to happen in the chapter. It's just like, it would spoil all the fun. No, it wouldn't spoil it, but it's good just to hear about it as it's being described. But later on, these chapter summaries are good to review what happened or what was discussed in the particular chapter. So they're good from that particular point of view, but I don't like to read them beforehand. Bhagavatam maybe, chapter summaries, but really in these Leela books, I'd rather not. Because it, just like, I want to hear what happens. Of course, I mean, obviously I know the pastimes. I've heard about these pastimes for the last 50 years. And I do know what happens, but I may not remember all the different details. And it's just nectar to hear it directly in the translation and some of the commentaries. Jaya Jaya Mahamaheshwara Gora Chandra Balya Lilaya Srividya Vilasera Kendra. All glories to Sri Gaurachandra, the Lord of Lords. In his childhood, he was the reservoir of scholastic pastimes. So let's just skip over that, because it's going to be just explaining what was said in the verse. Mata Gupta Bhavayache Dvija Raja Adyayana Vinahara Nahi Kona Kaja. In this way, as Gora means the golden one, the best of the Brahmanas, confidentially lived in Navadvip. Confidentially means he didn't reveal himself to anyone. He had no engagement other than studying. Diniya Kandarpakoti Rupa Manohara Prati Ange Nirupama Lavanya Sundara. Actually, there's more here. Ajanu Lambitak Bhuja Kamala Nayana Adare Tambula Divya Vasa Paritana. His form was as chanting as millions of cupids. Each of his limbs was incomparably charming. His arms extended to his knees, and his eyes were like the petals of a lotus. He chewed betel nut and dressed divinely. So this is basically the purport is descriptive. So let's go on to the next verse. Sarvadaya parihasa murti vijja palay sahasra putuya sange yavi prabhu chale. As the Lord walked with thousands of students, by the strength of his knowledge he entertained everyone with his sharp wit. And I believe that there is the word parihasa. He had humor too. Wit, of course, in this particular context, see the word parihasa. Means he was also very humorous in the way he explained the Shastra. Sarva Navadvipe Parame Tribhuvanapate Pushta Kera Rupe Kari Priya Sarasati. Vishwambara, the Lord of the three worlds, traveled all over Navadvip, holding in his hand his beloved Saraswati in the form of a book. So in the form of books, Mahalakshmi Narayani, the goddess of speech, always remained in the lotus hands of her Lord, Gaura Narayan, and thus fulfilled the meaning of the Lord's name, Vachaspati, the husband of the goddess of speech. Vachaspati. Yeah, Vacha. Vachapati. Yeah, Vachaspati. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, Vacha means like speech. Pati means husband. Interesting. I never thought of that word that way before. Navadvipe nahi panitera nama yesya bushi Beka Prabhura Vyakyana. There was no scholar throughout Navadvip who could understand Nimai's explanations. Savyeka Gangadasa Mahavagyavan Yaratani Prabhukari Vidyara Adana. The Lord discussed his explanations only with the most fortunate Gangadasa Pandit, that was his teacher. Sakala samsari deki bole danya danya e nandana yahara tahara kon dainya. All the materialistic people said the parents of this boy are certainly glorious. What can they be lacking? Yateka prakriti deke madana sammana Pashandi dekayayena yama vidya mana. All the ladies considered the Lord to be as attractive as Cupid, and the atheists considered him as death personified. So we're going to go to the next verse. Pandita sakala deke yena brahashpati emata deke savayara yena mati. All the learned scholars considered him equal to Brahaspati, that's the priest of the demigods. In this way, everyone appreciated the Lord according to their own mentality. Deki Vishwambara Rupa Sakala Vaishnava Harisha Vishadahe Mane Bhave Sabha. Seeing Vishwambara's attractive form, the Vaishnavas felt both jubilation and lamentation. Hena Divya Shadire Nahaya Krishna Ras Ki Karibe Vijaya Aila Kalavas Mohita Vaishnava Sabha Prabhura Maya Dekia O Tabukeha Dekite Napaya. They thought, although he has such a divine body, he has no attraction for Krishna. What good is his education if he simply wastes his time? All the Vaishnavas were bewildered by the internal potency of the Lord, so even though they saw the Lord, they did not understand him. Let's see. It's pretty much the same thing. Sakshate o Prabhu Deki, Kaya Kaya Bole, Ki Karye Gana Kala, Tumi Vaja Bole. Although they directly saw the Lord, some of them said, "Why do you waste your time in the fruitless pursuit of knowledge?" In other words, they said that to Krishna. So they're trying to preach. So in order to assist in the covered pastimes of the Lord, the Vaishnavas, by the will of the Lord, acted as ignorant people induced by material knowledge as they continually endeavored to convert Gaura into a servant of the Supreme Lord. In other words, preaching to God, to become a devotee. Little did they know they were dealing with God. Besides giving indirect hints, they also directly told Nimai not to remain absorbed in the cultivation of useless knowledge, but to worship Hari, for that was beneficial. Shunya Sena Prabhu, Sevakera Vakye, Prabhu Bole Tumara Shika, Omora Bhagye. The Lord smiled on hearing his servant speak like this, and he replied, "I am fortunate to have you instruct me." In reply, the Lord said, "It's my great fortune that you all instructed me to become a devotee of Hari." Hey namate Prabhu Gonayena Vijarase Sevaka Chinite Hadnare Anya Jana Kishe. As the Lord thus passed his time in scholastic pastimes, his servants could not recognize him, so what to speak of others? Chatur dikhaite lokat navadvipe ayha navadvipe patile se vidyarasa paya. People come from all over India to study in Navadvip, for if one studied in Navadvip, he got a taste for education. Chatigrama nivasiyo aneka tataya padena Vaishnava sabha rahena gangaya. Many Vaishnavas came from Chatagrama to live on the bank of the Ganges and study in Navadvip. Sabhai janbiya chena prabhura daiha Sabhe Virakta Krishna Bhakta Sarvataya. They were all renounced devotees of Krishna and had taken birth by the order of the Lord. Hmm. So by the desire of Gaurasundara, all the devotees who had appeared in this world at that time became totally indifferent to material objects and constantly engaged in worshipping Krishna. So this is something that we talked about this morning in the Bhagavatam class, that before the Lord appears, he orders his associates to take birth, some before him and some at the same time and some a little after him, so they can assist him in his pastimes. As Prabhupada said, when an important man goes somewhere, he never goes alone. He's always accompanied by his associates, his bodyguards, whatever. In the same way, when Krishna goes somewhere, he always goes with his entourage. That was the word that Prabhupada used. Anyonye mili sabe padya shunhiya karena govinda charcha nibrite vasya. After school hours, they regularly met together in a solitary place to discuss topics of Lord Krishna. Not receiving any encouragement for worshipping Krishna from Sri Gaurasundara, the Vaishnavas at that time cultivated Krishna consciousness in seclusion. Wherever there is no direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord or his dear associate, nirjana bhajana or solitary worship of the Lord is appropriate. Otherwise, it is prescribed that one should engage in Harinam Kirtan only under the guidance of the Supreme Lord or his devotee. And that's very interesting. So this nirjana bhajan means without people, alone, just chanting the holy name. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not recommend it, in fact. But he said, whenever there's no direct manifestation of the Supreme Lord or his dear associate. We have had a direct manifestation. First Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and we have his Vani, and the Goswamis of Vrindavan, we have their Vani, and their disciplic descendants, like Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, Baladev Vijayabhushana, and of course Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Korkashur Das Babaji Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and especially His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So there is a direct manifestation, so no nirjana bhajan. Prabhupada said if one goes to Vrindavan and does this nirjana bhajan, he's simply eating his mind's bananas. So why use the word bananas? Because just like in English we have this saying that if someone is a little crazy, we say he or she, gotta be equal, is bananas. I don't know where that saying came from, but bananas, I guess because it's connected with monkeys or something like that. So eating the mind's bananas means it's just like you're on the mental platform and you're thinking you're advanced and you're not actually advanced if you're engaged in this nirjana bhajan. That is for 99.99999% of the people. Now there may be a certain person, 0.000000001%, who can do it. Or when you're getting ready to die, you can do it too. So, but don't think you're getting ready to die when you're 40 years old or 50 years old or 60 years old or 70 years old. Getting ready to die means you are ready for a hospice. Sometimes people go to Vrindavan and they just stay there waiting to die. Not a good idea. Unless they're actually, got a month left or something. That's fine. That is just dandy. So Sri Mukunda was the most dear to all the Vaishnavas. Their hearts all melted when he sang. Those who were detached from material enjoyment engaged in worshipping the Supreme Lord are called Mahantas or Vaishnavas. On hearing Mukunda singing about the pastimes of the Lord Hari, the hearts of great souls melted. Vikala haile hasa bhagavata gana Advaita Sabaya Sabe Hayena Milana. In the afternoon, all the devotees regularly met in the house of Advaita Prabhu. Ye Matra Mukunda Gayena Krishna Gita Aina Nahi Jani Keva Pare Kon Vita. As soon as Mukunda would begin singing about Krishna, everyone there fell to the ground in ecstatic love. Shoo-wee. Kaya kande, kaya hase, kaya nritya kare, garagari, aya kaya vastranasam bore. Some of them cried, some laughed, and others danced. The clothes of some persons scattered as they rolled on the ground. Wow. I wish I could experience that upon hearing the Lord's glorification. Oh my God. Hunkara karye kaya ma shat mare kaya gya mukundera dvipaye dare. Someone roared as he challenged the agents of Maya, and someone else caught hold of Mukunda's feet. Hunkara means roaring. Emata uteya paramananda sukha najani vaishnava sabha arakona dukha. In this way, the Vaishnavas enjoyed great ecstasy and forgot all forms of distress. So when I go to these places, especially in Mayapur, where they held these ecstatic kirtans and ecstatic exchanges, like Advaita Bhagavat and Srivasangam, I actually picture in my mind's eye all the devotees there who were present, 400, 500, 600 years ago, chanting and rolling on the ground in ecstasy. And once you picture that, you could actually be there with them in a real sense. So devotees, when they go around Govardhan, and those devotees will be going around with me this next time and the next time. I'm going to India this Friday, and those devotees who go with me in February, they should stop at all these places and close their eyes and visualize what happened there. Either, of course, in Govardhan is 5,000 years ago, more than that, of course, now. And in Mayapur, it's, 500 to 600 years ago. So you just picture, this is what's happened. Close your eyes. Keep your eyes open. Of course, if you close your eyes, you may go to sleep, but that's your problem, not mine. In this way, the Vaishnavas enjoyed great ecstasy and forgot all forms of distress. Prabhu o Mukunda prati parasuki manhe tekile Mukundera darena apane. The Lord was most satisfied with Mukunda. Whenever the Lord saw him, he would stop him. Now, you'll hear what he said to Mukunda. This is before Lord Chaitanya took initiation. So he was actually manifesting the pastimes of being a scholar, an arrogant scholar, not just a regular scholar. Prabhu Gigasena Panki Vakane Mukunda Prabhu Bole Kachu Nahi Aralage Dwanva. The Lord would then ask Mukunda for some clarification on a point, and when Mukunda answered him, the Lord would say, wrong. And immediately an argument would begin. So some people may think, why am I not always reading the commentaries? Because if you look at the commentaries, in many cases, they're just reiterations. I mean, it's important, but they are reiterations of the verse. So, Mukunda Pandita Bada Prabhura Prabhave Paksha Pratipaksha Kari Prabhu Sane Lage. By the mercy of the Lord, Mukunda was very learned. Thus he was able to present arguments and counter-arguments to Nimai's challenge. Hey Mata Prabhu Nija Sevaka Chinnina Nigna Sena Punki Sabayayena Hariya. In this way, the Lord recognized his devotees by challenging them for clarification on some point, but they were all defeated in the ensuing argument. Probably really frustrated. Shivasari Dekileo Punki Kigasena Nityavakya Vyaya Vahe Sabe Palayana. Shivas and the other devotees were all challenged in this way by the Lord, but they would all run away in fear of wasting time in useless arguments. Sahaje virata sabe Shri Krishna rase Krishna vakya vinuara kichu nahi vase. The devotees were naturally detached due to their advancement in Krishna consciousness. They did not care to hear anything about other than topics related with Lord Krishna. So, of course, this reminds me of the time that Rupa Goswami was approached by this Pandit who wanted to argue with him and defeat Rupa Goswami. Of course, he couldn't have defeated Rupa Goswami. So the Pandit said, you know, you have to argue with me. Otherwise, if you don't argue with me, I will assume you have lost and I have won, and there will be a Jayapatra. Jayapatra means a certificate saying that I have defeated Rupa Goswami, or he had defeated Rupa Goswami. So Rupa Goswami said, okay, here's the certificate, you know, just go, bye-bye. And so Rupa Goswami didn't care at all about that reputation like that. So anyway, so then that certificate was shown to Srila Jiva Goswami, and Srila Jiva Goswami rightly challenged this person because this person had criticized his guru, Rupa Goswami, and he defeated the person. The person had a call of nature, or, as they said, went to the toilet in his pants. So anyway, okay. As soon as the Lord saw any devotee, he would challenge him, and when he failed to give the correct response, the Lord would tease him. Yadi keha deke prabhu aisena dure sabapalayena panki yasara dare. If any of them saw the Lord coming in the distance, they would run away out of fear of being challenged. They didn't want to waste their time. Not that they were really fearful of him. They just didn't want to waste time, which is what's described here. Krishna kata shunite sabe balavase panki vinu prabhu Krishna kata nagiyase. The devotees all love to hear topics concerning Lord Krishna, but Nimai did not mention anything about Krishna when he challenged them. That's so funny. Rajapata dia prabhu Aishena Sekadina Paduyara Sange Maha Oldatera China. One day as Nimai was walked on the main street with his students, he displayed symptoms of great pride. Mukunda Yayena Ganga Snana Karibare Prabhu Dekayare Palayla Kato Dure. At that time Mukunda was on his way to take bath in the Ganges. But when he saw Nimai coming, he ran away. That's so funny. I mean, I when I read those words, I actually pictured Mukunda just like running away, seeing Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the distance, and just saying, "Oh my God, I got to talk to this guy again." Deki Prabhu Jigyasena Govindera Stane Ebita Amare Deki Palai Lakene Govinda Bolena Mina Jani Pandita Arakona Karyeva Telelakon Pita. Seeing this, the Lord inquired from Govinda, "Why did this boy run away from upon seeing me?" Govinda replied, "Oh Pandita, I do not know. Perhaps he went somewhere for some work." That's funny. Prabhu bole jani lana ye lagi palaya parimuka sambasha karite na yuyaya. The Lord said, "I know the reason why he's avoiding me. He does not want to speak with a non-devotee." That's interesting. Sounds like a new devotee. You know, we didn't want to speak with anybody, even if it was a relative. Ebita badaye yata Vaishnavera Shastra Panjivrati Tika Ami Avakaniye Matra. This boy studies only Vaishnava literatures while I explain only Panji, Vritti, and Tika. Amara Sambhashe Nahi Krishnara Katana Ataiva Umadeki Kare Palayana. I do not speak anything about Krishna, therefore he ran away when he saw me. Santoshe Padena Kali Prabhu Mukunde Re Vyapadeshe Prakasha Karena Apanare. The Lord called Mukunda some ill names, yet he was actually satisfied with him. At that time, at the same time, he indirectly disclosed his identity. You see the purport. Let me just read this. It's actually important. Being satisfied at heart, the Lord manifested his own identity on the pretext of externally chastising Mukunda. In other words, he approved the discussion of Harikatha. The devotees of Ram discussed the names of Sita Ram rather than the names of Radha Krishna. But their external exhibition of such difference in opinion is actually another way of hearing the names of Radha and Krishna. Similarly, the devotees of Krishna chant the names of Radha Govinda before the devotees of Ram in order to test their qualification for chanting the names of Sita Ram. The names indicating the regulative opulent feature of the Lord. Such quarrels in the service of Lord Hari are just contradictions of internal and external endeavors. Something, in other words, there's teasing, like Lord Chaitanya did with Bhagavat when he was in Sri Rangam. And Bhagavat was a worshiper of Lakshmi Narayan, and Lord Chaitanya was teasing him and said, if your Lakshmi is such a great person, why does she worship another guy, Krishna? And Bhagavat knew the answer to that. He said, Krishna is just the pastime form of Lord Narayan. But then Lord Chaitanya teased him even more. He said, if she's such a great devotee, and she was worshiping Krishna, but she did it for many, many hundreds of thousands of years, she could not attain Krishna. Why is that? And Bhagavat just got confused. He just said, I don't know. And Lord Chaitanya revealed, the reason is, guess what? Because she was attached to her opulent mode of worship. Prabhu Bole, Are Beta, Katadina Taka, Palaile Kota Mora, Idaibe Paka. It's very funny, that Bengali here. The Lord said, my dear boy, how long will you avoid my clutches? Do you think you will escape my association by running away? So the word beta, that means boy. So it's sort of like diminutive. He's saying my boy. Hasibole Prabhu age podon katadina tabe se dekiba mora Vaishnavera china. Smiling, the Lord said, when I finish my studies, then we will all see my Vaishnava qualities. E mata Vaishnava mui haimu sangsare ajabhava asibeka amara du yare. I will be such a Vaishnava that Brahman Shiva will come out to my door. Really, it sounded really puffed up. Shuna pai sabae amara vachana Vaishnava haimu mui sarva vilakshana. My dear brothers, listen to me. I will certainly become an extraordinary Vaishnava. So, of course, if any of us if I were to say that, you just think, oh my God, this guy has spiritual trouble. It sounds really prideful what he's saying, but it's not. It's actually predictive of what was going to happen. Amare tegya ebe yesava palaya tahara oyena mora guna kirti gaya. Those who run away from me today will chant my glories and qualities tomorrow. Eteka badiya prabhu chalila hasite kare gela nija shisha ganera sakite. After speaking in this way, Nimai smiled and returned home with her students. E mata ranga kare vishwambara raya Caitanya janite pare yalina janaya. Who can understand these pastimes enjoyed by Lord Vishwambara unless he reveals them? He namate bhaktagana nadiyaya vase sakala nadiya mata dana putra rase. In this way, the devotees resided in Navadvip, which was filled with people intoxicated by wealth and children. It's a fact. Now, people just get into, family and family and family. And they spend all their lives going to different family functions. There's a marriage, what else? A death ceremony, a 2-year anniversary of the death ceremony, a 3-year anniversary, a 10-year anniversary. There's this samskara taking place. The guy's going to school. There's going to use some chalk. Okay, got to go there. And this way you spend your whole life going to these ceremonies. Sunile kirtana karye parihasa kehabole sabapeta pushibara asha. As soon as such people heard the devotees' kirtan, they taunted the devotees. Someone said, this is just a means for filling their stomachs. Kaya bole jnana yoga eriya vichara udatera praya nricha kie kon vyabhara. Another said, they have given up the cultivation of knowledge to dance like madmen. What kind of behavior is this? Lun Bhagavata Nachiba Kandiba Hena Nadeki Lun Pata. Someone else said, I have studied Srimad Bhagavatam for a long time, but I have never found any mention of dancing and crying as a spiritual path. It is mentioned. It's profusely mentioned, as mentioned here in the purport. It says in the Bhagavatam, if one doesn't have tears in his eyes when he hears the chanting of Hare Krishna and Krishna Katha, then that person is certainly steel-framed. I mean, there's so many verses. Shivasa Panditachari Bhairalagiya Nidra Nahi Ai Bhai Bhojana Kariya. My dear brothers, because of Shivasa and his 3 brothers, we cannot sleep after eating because they're making too much noise with the chanting. I mean, remember, the houses, they were just like straw huts. So obviously, if someone was chanting it, the whole village could hear. As a result of the pure devotees' loud chanting, of course, they didn't have amplification at that time, but, you imagine like 40, 50 devotees chanting at night. That's pretty loud. It would carry it all over. As a result of the pure devotees' loud chanting for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, people who were attached to sense gratification felt disturbed in their enjoying the happiness of eating and sleeping, and were thus greatly displeased. Since Srivas Pandit and his 3 brothers loudly chanted the names of Krishna every night, the fruitive workers who are prone to material enjoyment could not respect such pure concepts of abhideya. Abhideya means the practice of devotional service. Dire dire Krishna balile ki punya nahi. Nachile gaile daka chadile ki haye. Is there no piety in softly chanting Krishna's names? Must one chant, dance, and shout loudly? What's wrong with you? Just chant. If you want to chant, you chant softly. E mata yata papa pasandira gana dekile vaishnavere kareku katana. In this way, all the sinful atheists abuse the Vaishnavas whenever they saw them. Okay, a few more verses. Shunya Vaishnava Saba Mahaduka Paya Krishna Bali Sabe Kandena Urdvaraya. Hearing their abusive words, the devotees were greatly distressed. They would chant Krishna's name and cry loudly. They were distressed out of compassion, not that they were worried about being criticized personally. Katadine Saba Dukara habe nasha jagatere Krishna Chandra karaha prakasha. How long will this miserable condition last? Oh, Krishna Chandra, please manifest yourself to these people. Of course, Krishna Chandra was there, but they didn't know. Sakala Vaishnava Miliya Advaitera Stane Pashandira Vachana Karena Nivedanai. The Vaishnavas all told the Advaita Prabhu about the abusive words of the atheists. Shunya Advaita Hail Rudravatara Sangharimu Sababale Karaye Hunkara. Hearing their account, Advaita Acharya became as angry as Lord Rudra and loudly exclaimed, I will kill them all. So again that word hunkara, which means roaring. Loudly, but he was roaring. Because he's an incarnation of Mahavishnu, Sadashiva, and that includes Rudra. Asite che mora prabhu chakradara dekibaki haya e nadia vitara. My Lord who carries the chakra is coming. Then you will see what happens in Nadia. So, all right, we will end here. This is such an exciting section, The Vaishnavas and the Prashandis, everything like that. Okay, let's give me a second. I will allow you to unmute yourselves. All right. You are allowed to unmute yourselves. So you have a choice. You can raise your hand and unmute yourself when I call on you, like in a schoolroom. Okay, Mr. Gopal.
Please accept my obeisances, Srila Gurudev.
Yes.
Earlier you chanted Lord Nrsingadev's prayers, and that comes from Sri Jayadev Goswami's Gita Govinda.
Yes.
So in a previous verse in the last chapter, it was talked about how Madhavendra Puri was the initiator of Goloka Prem.
Yeah.
But it was many, many years before Sri Madhavendra Puri appeared that Sri Jayadev Goswami appeared and spoke very intimate pastimes in the Gita Govinda.
Yes, that's true. But at the same time, that wasn't manifest within our sampradaya. Jayadev Goswami is not within the sampradaya. The information was there. I mean, you find information even in the Bhagavatam. What to speak of the Bhagavatam? You find information about the intimate pastimes and Srimati Radharani and all those other things in there. So, but it wasn't really brought forth in our sampradaya or manifested in our sampradaya. Generally in the sampradaya, because basically in our sampradaya, we're followers of Sripad Madhva Acharya. And his mood, especially the Tattvavadi mood, was a mood of, on reverence. So in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, it was not manifest.
I see. And from what sampradaya did Srila Jiva Goswami, Jayadev Goswami come from?
I do not know. That's a good question. I have no idea. But he was a pure devotee because Krishna himself wrote part of the Gita Govinda. When Jayadev Goswami was trying to write, or was writing, the Gita Govinda, and then what happened is that he was thinking in his mind, Krishna bows down and touches the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. He thought, this is not appropriate. Krishna's God. Let me go take a bath. So he went to take a bath, and to make a long story short, Krishna came and finished that portion, but Krishna appeared looking like Jayadev Goswami and finished that particular portion. And Krishna bows down and touches, and begs for forgiveness and cries at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani. So basically, he was directly with Krishna. So, and Bilvamangal Thakur was even earlier. So it's not that people didn't have this understanding of pure love of God, but it wasn't manifest in our particular sampradaya. Okay, so here's a question. Some questions in the chat window. Hare Krishna Guru Dev. After surrendering to Guru and Gauranga, accepting Srimati Radharaman's lotus feet, does a devotee get affected by the effects of Rahu, Ketu, Shani, Vastu, astrology, black magic, and ill practices? Now, the operative word is surrendered. Are you actually surrendered, is the question. Surrender doesn't mean, hey, I took initiation, I'm a surrendered soul. Ooh. Surrender means completely surrendered. And depending upon how much surrendered you are, then you'll be affected by these other material elements. Not only Rahu, Ketu, Shani, and all these other things. You'll be affected by what you eat. Like if you go, a devotee was talking to me the other day, and they ate something called Oreos. I don't know if you know what Oreos is. I guess nobody knows. And they ate Oreos and they had bad dreams. So, but if you're completely, oh my God, I shouldn't say this. If you're complete surrendered, you can eat Oreos and not have bad dreams. And if you're complete surrendered, you will not be affected by Rahu, Ketu, Shani. So the whole idea is always be chanting the Lord's holy names. And then in this way, you'll be protected. But anyway, most of us are not completely surrendered. It's not, you take initiations. So these things, you may get affected, but we're not controlled by those things. There's a difference between affected and controlled. Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Lord Nityananda is the original Guru and can give Lord Chaitanya or Krishna to one. Is Lord Chaitanya the beginning of the disciplic succession, or Lord Nityananda? The beginning of the disciplic succession is Krishna, who spoke to Lord Brahma. That's the beginning of our disciplic succession. Not Lord Chaitanya. Well, I mean Lord Chaitanya and Krishna, same thing, Vishnu, whatever. They're all the same person. Okay, another question. Did Lord Chaitanya argue with Advaita Acharya, or was it only young Vaishnavas he argued with? That's a good question. I haven't heard about him arguing with Advaita Acharya. I don't remember anything like that. Basically, I guess it was people of his own age, or maybe Mukunda was a little older. Or was a classmate? Actually, was a classmate. So he was basically, with peers. I don't think he would violate etiquette and, just like offend Advaita Acharya. Do they come from Orissa? Oh, you mean the Shani? No, Shani is... it's a demon. Oreos. Oh. Yeah, Oreos are originally from Orissa. So those are people from Orissa will know what they are. That's a joke. It's a type of cookie that all of us in America were very attached to. I don't know if it's worldwide. Okay, so thank you all very much, and we'll see you all tomorrow evening. And don't eat any Oreos in the meantime. And don't look it up on the internet what it is. It's a vegetarian. There are vegetarian Oreos, but don't do an experiment. And then you see who Rahu and Ketu and all these other nice personalities are. Okay, all glorious to His divine grace. Srila Prabhupada, Srila